currency.
Stack a couple bitcoins.
Money,
Pull up on my Nakamoto.
Hello. Welcome to the Blockchain Dynamics Show. It is episode number 16.
Yes, indeed.
My name is Brandon Doge.
I'm Jukely. And it is Saturday, the 11th of June, 2016. The Bitcoin price is way up.
Yep, $620 on Coinbase on my last check. This is just, it's like literally happening as we film this. Like I would say maybe an hour ago, it was probably like 6:05. And just had barely broken over 600 then. So it's obviously really exciting to see Bitcoin just climbing into, I think the last time it was this high, looking on the chart, was something, I know it was in 2014, like early summer, I think.
Sweet.
So, I mean.
About 2 years ago.
Yeah, crazy. It's just, at this point, where is it going to stop, man? Anything could happen. Obviously, we don't know.
Nope.
And,
but
it's just
we feel happy that we have some Bitcoins.
Yep. And we've been, of course, keeping track for you guys of kind of the effect of this Bitcoin surge on the altcoin markets. We don't really have a good analysis for it this week because this price surge is just happening now, so we don't have a good picture, basically, of what's happening. But for our next show, we're going to do another update on that and just kind of see how this Bitcoin surge is affecting the alt markets overall.
Yep, and just a quick note that we'll be skipping 1 week.
Yep.
For a little summer vacation.
Yep, we're taking a week off, and this is what's going down.
Yeah, we're gonna do one. We've been trying to come up with new segments to do on the show, and one of the more easy ones that we came up with was to do a random coin spotlight.
Yep, Blockchain Dynamics random coin.
Just some sort of way to find a way to bring more coins and information into the system without being biased. So
yeah, exactly. We just thought it'd be fun. Like, let's leave it up to the numbers and let's just talk about it.
We'll see if it's fun. The first one we came up with was EarthCoin.
Yep, the first random selection is EarthCoin.
And so we looked up some stuff about it, and the first thing you would want to know is it trading? Yes, but only on some Chinese exchanges. And it's actually got some pretty good volume. Brandon doesn't think it's real volume. He might be totally right.
I don't know. I'm not. Sometimes this, like the BTC38 exchange in particular, seems to post up some really weird volume numbers compared to like what the markets look like. Mm-hmm. But I also, I don't know for certain exactly, what percentage of that kind of volume is fake. But honestly, EarthCoin is really surprising for me. I laughed when this came up because I remember EarthCoin, like right when we got into crypto, there was an EarthCoin pump happening. But we were kind of already too late to have ever been a part of it. But I know some of the people that bought miners, like for the early Litecoin pump and stuff, made a shitload on EarthCoin when it had this first early pump. And I kind of thought that was the end of it. I know it was a CryptoCoin for a long time. And then I kind of figured just when Crypto was gone that the coin was gone.
Right.
But you found out, you were looking at the market cap and you found it was on this Chinese website. And it had like a huge pump apparently.
Yeah. Yep. Just those two. The BTC38 and then Jumbi. So it garners it has just interesting stuff going on. One thing I'm noticing now, I had mentioned it's still mining. It's a script coin.
Yep.
And I had noticed it was on Supernova when I was looking at their website. But now I'm looking at like the thread itself, and he's like the last person posting here with his pool. I wonder if he just posted it on his website. Like
Supernova?
Today. Yeah.
Oh wow, I wonder.
Or he was just like reminding people it was there, but that's interesting. I don't know if that just happened or what.
Interesting. Yeah, the EarthCoin market cap during its first pump in 2013 that it was so famous for peaked at 2 million or about 1.7 million USD. And somewhere in December, January of this year, it hit 4.5 million. Wow. Apparently on these Chinese markets exclusively. So I was just really shocked to see this. And it shows like how much that is going on outside even of the sphere of what we're aware of.
Definitely.
So I was really surprised to see this.
It's definitely, the thread isn't super active. It's definitely hard to track down a community for it.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to bring it up, I guess.
It's a classic
coin. A random coin. It's in the top 50 market cap.
It's got a really funny reward schedule where it does like the random bonus blocks.
Seasonals. Yeah, I was looking at that. Yeah.
So it's kind
based on a 365-day cycle.
It harkens back to the era when coins were really trying to distinguish themselves through like interesting parameters, as opposed to like any kind of revolutionary code changes, just like small tweaks. And EarthCoin was one of them, and apparently is, to my surprise, still going strong.
In some ways, maybe we'll do. Maybe as we do these random coins, we'll also do like random coin follow-ups, which might be insightful at some point.
Yeah, to see what's happening with these.
Yeah.
So there you have it, EarthCoin.
That'll bring us straight into the new posts.
Yep, we always like to cover the new posts, especially with the markets going like they are. New coins can always be a great opportunity. Oftentimes they're garbage, and so it's just fun to... I always like to see everything, then I'm not surprised, when it hits the exchange or something, and I'm just like, oh, I remember this.
Yeah, it's fun. There's also a bit of entertainment in it.
Yeah, and it's also just fun to trash on these coins, and we always joke about it just because a lot of them are really bad, and you can't really tell the good ones from the bad ones, so it's just kind of fun to have a joke at these coins' expense.
The first one that were brought up was Nucleus.
Nucleus. This is an ICO. Nucleus ICO uses the amazing Lighthouse to fund the project. Lighthouse, for those who aren't familiar, is like a Bitcoin decentralized crowdfunding platform that's based on Bitcoin. The idea is you would load like a Bitcoin-esque wallet that would connect to the blockchain and would allow you to commit your Bitcoins to a crowdfunding project.
Oh, I've never even heard of that.
It's a really cool idea. My understanding is that it's abandoned.
Oh, okay.
So I was kind of surprised to see them advocating it on this post. Like, maybe they don't. Do they know it's abandoned, or they must? Maybe it's progressed to an extent that I'm not aware.
So can
of.
they? Excuse me. Can they just use it kind of as an escrow in this situation then?
Yeah, exactly. If the crowdfund isn't funded, then your funds are released back to you
Cool.
Automatically with Lighthouse. That's how it's supposed to work. But like I said, I thought it was abandoned. Apparently, maybe not. The idea here. It's just kind of the classic crypto buzzword post, honestly. I didn't see anything to get too excited about personally.
Yeah.
But they did put together a whole big, huge post. But I'm not sure about this one. It just feels...
a little bit uninspired.
Uninspired is the
that name. That name seems like it would have been better back during the
Positron.
Yeah, the positron days, right?
Yeah, totally. I agree. There was like neutron, positron, all that stuff. I agree totally. So maybe a coin out of its era, and I'm not sure about this one.
Next one is AsicBit.
AsicBit.
People are stoked that they've got their X11 ASICs coming, I think.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of X11 coins the past couple weeks,
with
and
absurd hash rates.
Yeah, I totally agree that it's the people who got these X11 ASICs are trying to ROI on them essentially by creating some of these quick pump coins. I'm not sure AsicBit is one. It's a funny name for this coin. It's like, oh, this is a coin that's for ASICs, but then it only mines...
Oh, this is script.
Oh, it says script. Weird.
I'm confused now.
I thought it was X11. It must be script.
I thought it was too.
But the point is, it's only got a...
Maybe something...
No, it's
was
script.
mistyped at
It's
some
script.
point.
I must have just wrote it down wrong.
Okay.
Written it down wrong.
Rooting it.
Written it. The last block on this, it's only a 3,000 block proof of work. So it's really funny that they branded it as an ASIC coin when the mining ends after like 2 days. And it was already over by the time I had seen it.
Just plug in that ASIC for 24 hours.
And in addition to that,
case.
the pre-mine is about 15 times the amount of coins that will ever be mined.
Oh, wow.
So it's just a classic shitcoin.
Cool.
Next on the list, Inception. Inception came out. This one is X11.
Ah, cool.
And got listed on MPOX right away, which is funny. We are seeing MPOX was around I want to say maybe a year to a year and a half ago.
That sounds right.
They were listing a lot of new coins. They're kind of they just kind of disappeared, I guess you could say. They've always been up apparently, and there still are. They've been listing some coins recently.
Yeah, I think so. We've seen them a couple times.
But
we got to get them on the list.
I think there were early listers of Crave back in that time period.
Yeah, I think was that. Yeah, I don't know. I know.
Thinking of Kaiser Soze?
I was thinking of GhostCoin specifically. I think.
Oh, I don't remember if they did GhostCoin. I remember GhostCoin on CCX.
Yeah, but anyway,
Inception is the coin that we're actually talking about, and it's this is another one that looks like
this is a classic freaking layout right here.
Yep, they got the decreasing block rewards.
Mm-hmm.
The rewards halve roughly every day. It's got supernova and such pool.
Beautiful.
So it seems like this was made for a quick pump. It would have been a great one, of course.
I'm going to check if there's any trading going on MPOX here.
And sometimes these coins, you can catch them like when the difficulty, like after the initial good rewards are gone. A lot of times people will forget about them, and the difficulty will actually get so low that you can get some cheaper coins even than the early miners got. I haven't seen that yet on Inception. I haven't really been watching that.
It looks.
closely,
I mean, the market's pretty thin, but the spread's pretty huge as well. So I don't think anyone's quite decided how much it's worth here.
if I was one of these X11 ASIC holders, I would definitely be interested in this coin.
Right.
But as it is, I'm not sure that I'm going to try and buy it when it does hit exchange. I don't see. I'm not totally sure on it.
Be interesting to see. We haven't seen them a while. It's been a little bit since a coin that just kind of harks back to. I want to think about like Halcyon and
Crave, man.
Crave, those types of coins where it was
totally
just so
utility coin,
just obvious stuff that was happening.
And I think
that happening much.
I just think that the markets have evolved a little bit. I think that play doesn't work as well anymore. You have to, the kind of coins that people are buying into. There's enough. I guess the way I would describe it is that there's enough people who are actually pushing the envelope now that just making a clone coin and pumping it isn't really cut it anymore. It doesn't play as well as, this is a unique blockchain. If you can push out that unique blockchain, then you can do a huge pump behind it. But it doesn't seem like it's that easy for people to get away with just on these regular clones anymore.
Sure.
And we'll see. As always, you can do a lot of cool stuff with clones. I don't mean to say that, there's not even a place for clones anymore, because especially kind of service-based blockchains and stuff could still build services around these clone coins if they think that's the route that works for them. So next up on the big list is, I don't even know how to pronounce this, Ecchi. It's a Ecchi, ECCHI coin. This is a really weird, it's like an anime porno coin or something. I'm not sure where they're going with this.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about tits a lot. There's a lot of cartoons. Apparently people really like cartoon boobs. That's what we've learned, if anything, from Bitcoin talk. But this is an airdrop coin, I guess. So you could probably sign up for it. I'm not sure.
Looks like there's a little time left. I just feel like there's a severe lack of boobs in this post. I don't know where you're seeing them all. I see. Oh, wait.
They're ASCII.
Yeah.
ASCII boobs everywhere.
I just think for a boob coin, there's not really much
yeah,
boobs here.
It feels like they didn't really have the guts to take the premise to its natural, take the premise to its extreme or something. I don't know. So yeah, there's that.
Stake token.
Stake token is next. This is a weird post. It's an ICO, but only a 7.5 Bitcoin ICO. And it's also a concurrent proof of work. The proof of work started when they announced the ICO.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I think that's a kind of an interesting idea for doing an ICO, because you could kind of get a price discovery with the proof of work and the mining concurrently to the ICO, right? So that people who are buying into the ICO kind of have some perspective. But I don't think that stake token is really a good vehicle for this, because they don't ever explain what the point of the ICO is, like, ever.
So they're going to sell 250 million of them for 7.5 Bitcoins.
Yep, 3 Satoshi. And then I'm sure there's going to be a huge proof of stake or whatever, but
I wish I could see that. They don't just tell you the total coins here in the post.
No, I figured it's got a 1,000 block reward, so that's how I worked back what the distribution would be, essentially. So 250,000 blocks for the POW miners to catch up to the IPO total, which is a pretty long time, especially for a 7.5 Bitcoin coin. So it seems like maybe this is one of those ones that just shows up on Yobit, but I don't know.
If the mining's cheap enough and people dump them for like 1 sat, then I might buy that type of coin.
Right, I guess.
But that means it's probably going down from there too, so I don't know.
And once again, they're not selling anything here except for the fact that it's a coin.
Right, there's nothing there.
Next up on the list is Biker Coin. This is another Kryptonite algorithm coin. And I was kind of hyping up, not really hyping up, but I was interested in the last 2 Kryptonite coins that got launched. One was BitSeti, and there was another one, I think, last week that I don't remember the name of. And I'm starting to become cynical of them now, because there have been a lot of them, and I haven't seen one actually go anywhere in a long time. And so that just kind of makes me a little bit naturally suspicious, I guess. So this is Biker Coin.
Not a lot of info here.
Not a lot of info. The one thing that caught my attention is that they claim to be advertising on the 4B network.
Is that something you'd heard of?
No, I have no idea what that means. I tried to look it up and I couldn't find anything about it. I assumed it would have been like a biker related thing, like, oh, we're on this biker's news feed. That's kind of how they pitched it.
There was that restaurant chain in Montana in the 90s called 4Bs.
Yeah, 4Bs. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's going to a cheap family restaurant chain now. So it would be cool if they actually were advertising this to bikers, but I'll believe it when I see it.
4BC. My bad.
Oh, 4BC network. Okay, I see.
Maybe that's why.
I misspoke. Maybe I searched wrong then.
Maybe you did.
Whatever.
But yeah, if it's the bikers seem like a pretty organized little segment. I bet they would benefit from having their own currency if they could figure that type of shit out.
Yeah, that's true. They're not necessarily known for their technological affinity, but
no, but they probably do a shit ton of trading.
Okay, 4BC network. Looks like it's a Bitcoin network of some kind.
Oh, okay. But anyway, seems like a interesting niche target, but I'm not sure they're gonna find all that much crossover. It seems very hokey to me to make a biker coin.
Yeah, and with Crypto Night, it seems like the Crypto Night market isn't that big, I guess. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. Next on the list is Sunshot coin.
We already saw this one get listed, right?
Yeah, this one's straight to Yobit, 98% pre-mine, so that's pretty much all you need to know. It's just one of those coins that's going to light up the Yobit sidebar and try and get people to jump in.
And then DotCoinz.
DotCoinz. This was a virus or something, so don't download this one. There was no source posted. A lot of people made fun of them because there's already a couple of other DotCoinz. Cryptopia has a unit called Dots for their exchange, and then there's also another DotCoin, I guess, that came out before that too. But so nothing to see there. And Echo is next. This was actually kind of interesting. It's not really a coin. It's supposed to be a service, but I thought the thread was worth checking out. Essentially, the pitch is that it's a multi-blockchain wallet,
okay,
plus fiat. So it's an app essentially.
And I can send. You're supposed to be able to send dollars to it as well. Then
they said it could access the RPC of various coin services. So they would have modules essentially that give it access to coin wallets,
like your Coinbase wallet or
or
like
the actual client wallet.
Oh wow,
QT service, not QT, but the actual daemon.
I'm following you. Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting, and they allegedly have a proof of concept. They do have a couple of videos of themselves, one of them at a conference of some kind. So in the context of that, it seems to be a lot more real than a lot of the things that we see on Bitcoin Talk. And I guess that's why I'm talking about it. So they say there's a future crowdfunding coming up. I can't imagine really what for if they're already this deep into the project, but I think it's definitely worth looking at.
Interesting. I see they have Steam in their supported currencies there.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, this definitely is the type of thing you got to just show it in reality before you can get too much of my attention.
And it's not a coin or something. It's not like you're going to speculate on it. It's actually a product.
Yep, that'd be cool though. That sounds like a cool idea. Up next was the Freedom Solutions DAO.
Freedom Solutions DAO. This is a pre-ICO.
And we tried to watch a little bit of the video of this guy.
He uses the word freedom a lot.
Yeah, he seemed passionate about what he believed in.
Yeah, really passionate. It seems like he really wants to build a project. He definitely had some people in the thread that seemed interested as well.
Yep.
And again, it's all anchored around this kind of show that he's putting together. And so I guess go to the YouTube and check it out.
Yep.
And just see what he has to say. Dlisk is next. I don't know if that's supposed to be dark Lisk. It's obviously Lisk based.
Yeah.
They're saying that it's like an expansion for Lisk or an extension that like it's going to allow people to do work with Node.js.
So try to just make working with Lisk easier.
Yeah, JavaScript is kind of considered to be client side and Node is considered to be like server side. So maybe it's trying to appeal more to server side stuff or something. I don't know. I looked at these. They have a bunch of LinkedIn. They show the team at the beginning, and they have these LinkedIn posts. I wasn't completely sold on them, to be honest with you, but like it seems like they just made up this personality for the post. But who knows? Maybe it This thread has generated a ton of interest. I will say that.
Cool.
But it didn't feel great to me. But then again, I also was really cynical of the original Dlisk, which has been doing very well. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, this isn't speaking my language, but it's also, like you said, it's getting so much attention, it's hard for me to ignore it. So I guess I'll keep an eye on it, but I don't really understand the way that it's presented. It's interesting.
So Dark Dlisk.
Maybe they're just trying to do it kind of like, it says right here in the title that it's the last days for the 50% bonus, so during the ICO period or whatever. Right. So it might just be one of those kind of things, keeping it low key before making it look a little bit better. Who knows?
See. They got a BTC address here. Let's check out let's see what they've got in there. 2.7 Bitcoins, very low. I wonder if that's the only address.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens with Dark Dlisk. I call it Dark Dlisk, but they don't actually sell it like that. I'm just so used to people calling things like dark, whatever.
Yeah, I hear you. To the news.
Yep, that's it for the new coins. Looking back at this list of new coins, not a lot of great coins. I was more interested in some of last week's coins, I guess. Do you see anything here that you might look back on? Echo, that's not even a coin. So, I don't know.
I guess for me, Inception is even though I don't see it showing any promise at the moment,
it's the most promising.
It's also one that looks the most normal to me.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
They actually speak in my language.
I agree. Yeah.
The rest of them are kind of weird to me, but that one actually has things listed in a way that I understand at least.
Yeah, and it's just Inception's got that appeal to miners,
Yeah, it's a mining coin.
Yeah, exactly. So
some of these aren't even blockchains, and some of them are
just weird
ideas.
Right.
I don't understand some of it.
So yeah, that's the list this week. And we're going to go on to the news now. Obviously, the Bitcoin pump is at the top of the news for everybody, but there's still some cool stuff going down in altcoins. One interesting thing was that Poloniex added ETH base pairs this week.
Yeah, starting with 2.
Yep, they only started with 2. I thought that was a little soft on their part.
That's their style. What else are they going to do?
I guess it was Dlisk and DAO.
I think
hitters.
I think that DAO makes perfect sense because that's everybody that bought DAO bought it with ETH.
Right.
So continuing that trade mix.
That could be what inspired them to do the base pair.
And then Dlisk, I guess, is high volume, so they wanted to see what would happen. I don't know why.
There's a lot of money. Dlisk has been huge. The trading on Dlisk has been huge lately. Really nipping at Ethereum seals, so I can see that. They changed their layout a little bit too to accommodate the change, which I
like that. It definitely is easier to. I mean, it makes more sense. Nobody's trying to look at multiple base pairs at once necessarily.
So this is cool. We've seen a lot of attempts in the past to get alternate base pairs to build traction, and for the most part, they really haven't. We still only really see alternate base pairs, like when a coin is so cheap that Satoshi is too much, and then we'll see it go down to the Litoshi market or something like on Espers. But we have not really seen any alternate base pairs, in my opinion, really take off. USDT's done pretty well. The Polo Monero market does do pretty well. But I think this ETH market will really be kind of a huge, bellwether for seeing the strength of these alternate
for sure.
base pair markets.
And it looked like the volume was pretty good on both of them.
Yeah, so far, I agree. About 7,000 ETH volume on Dlisk. And 7,000 S volume on DAO, and about 2,400 on Dlisk. So maybe that's interesting. We see higher ETH volume on DAO than higher Bitcoin volume on Dlisk, and that probably ties back into what you were saying earlier about the DAO having been conducted with Ethereum, and so it's kind of naturally more inclined to trade on that market, I guess.
It'd definitely be.
But the people will also burn their Ethereum to get it. Sorry.
No, that's fine. No, yeah, that's what I was saying. You're right.
Interesting. Let's see. In other news this week, we had Yobit volume surpass Bittrex a little bit. I thought that was interesting. If I had to guess, I would say that more coins are still trading hands on Bittrex. In terms of Yobit has a lot of coins like EDR that generate 300-400 Bitcoin volume a day.
Is that one on Bittrex? No.
Nope. No.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't just pay for that listing, considering the fact that they're doing so much volume
everywhere
faking
else.
everywhere
Yeah, that's
else.
a good call. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised if I think Bittrex is trying to avoid that kind of stuff right now.
You don't think that they would list that for the 3 Bitcoins? I think they would. That's kind of their thing, right?
Yeah, I guess they probably would. I don't know.
Me neither.
But EDR is not on Bittrex. And kind of as a consequence, some of these smaller exchanges are starting to catch up to them in volume. But we'll see what the consequence is in the long term. Yobit's come a long way by just being really bold.
Right.
And just pushing the boundaries of what altcoin exchanges are about.
Yeah. And one of the bold things that they did last week we talked about was list that Waves...
yeah, the Waves pre-token, the Dlisk pre-token. They're pushing it for sure.
which is about to finally come out of its ICO. Like, the tokens on Waves are about to get released. And from what I hear, people have been submitting their addresses to the platform, and that then the coins will be distributed sometime, like within the next 7 days if things go well.
Yep. And how much did that one raise? What did you find
It was
out?
a lot. Let me look it up again. It was thousands and thousands.
It was like 29,000 or something.
Yeah.
A preposterous number. Not as much as the DAO, which is mind-blowing, just in terms of how big the DAO was. But for something like Waves to be able to raise 30,000 Bitcoins, that's crazy. I don't know.
29,000.
29,000. Wow.
Yeah, 29.6 thousand. That's a lot.
That is a shitload. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
More
Waves
so-
distributing soon.
Yeah, I think one of them are. I don't want to say. Okay, so I find it interesting. We've had so many of these big ICOs recently that have actually been profitable for the ICO holders. Which can't go on forever, that's for sure. But even beyond that part with Waves, it seems so closely related to the same things that like Ethereum and Dlisk and
It definitely
these
feels
ones are trying to accomplish. I wonder how they're all going to find their own spots to have so much money in there. But I might be underestimating, the amount of money in the world is fucking huge after all.
it totally feels like a copycat to me. But then again, you can go back and watch on like the first episode when Dlisk was announced, and I said the exact same thing about Dlisk. So I said that Dlisk felt like a copycat of ETH, and now Waves feels like a copycat of Dlisk, and so it's really just hard for me to gauge these big ICOs in terms of I don't really have any insight on the quality of the development team and how real what they're trying to do is. And so it can be really hard to judge them before they get released. And so that's one of the reasons that I usually just wait for them to hit the market.
Yeah.
But like you said, a lot of them have been trading just really well lately.
Mm-hmm. Well, their ability to deliver is so unpredictable,
Yep, totally.
But they just seem to all kind of be getting enough attention lately. But I don't know. This one's going to be interesting because out of all of the ones that maybe to save that first show again, I think, we had a lot of them there. Waves would have been the one that I thought was least likely to make it even this far. So to see it here now, it's like it could just be one of the best options. I have no fucking idea.
I mean, we're in a new era, man. I have to remind myself
I
of
didn't
that.
buy into this one. I never made it.
Did
in.
you? Okay,
Nope.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I kind of have to remind myself that the market isn't what it was in 2014. We got into the game, when it was always just kind of Bitcoin down, down, down. There was always a lot of activity in alts, but it never seemed like a 30,000 Bitcoin IPO could have been real.
Right.
And
How much was ReeCoin, I wonder, because that seemed so big at the time.
yeah, I do.
I'll try
wonder.
to look that
I bet
up
it
one
was
second.
between 10 to 100 Bitcoins.
Mm-hmm.
But also kind of going back to one of the things you said earlier, it's really easy to look at this 30,000 Bitcoin IPO and be blown away by it. But in terms of the actual business world, it's not a mind-blowing amount of money, It's 15 or 16 million. That's a shitload, but their business is getting financed bigger than that every single day. There are people failing on a spectacular scale, way bigger than that every day. There are people succeeding on a way bigger scale than that every day.
Yeah.
So it's big for crypto. It's big for what we're used to, but it could just be a new normal. We'll see as time goes on. I'm curious to see just how far this new kind of resurgence, I guess, of alts can go, especially with Bitcoin just going nuts. It seems like.
Yeah, I agree. That the answer to that question is ReeCoin raised 168 Bitcoins.
Okay, wow, that's a pretty. And I think Bitcoin was like $800 then, but
Yeah.
Maybe closer to 600.
They say over $100,000 USD.
Bitcoin wasn't over $800 for very long. So that just the time that one of the impressive things about this pump that's been going on right now is how just essentially how stable it's been, I guess. It's just been going for quite a while. So
yeah, it's getting really close to that crossing over to a new market cap sort of level, you know.
Yeah, exactly. We could be entering a new frontier. In update news, Vcash released a new wallet, which is kind of their bread and butter, is just constant releases over a long period of time. So this one introduces a dynamic block sizing, which of course is one of Bitcoin's pitfalls at the moment. Really playing to the heart of the Bitcoin drama, I guess, that's been going on.
Right.
So, yeah, cool move. XVC always knocking out those wallet releases. That's Vcash, of course, and they do get a lot of criticism sometimes, but they've also pushed out a lot of new technology, and it's really going to be interesting to see how XVC does going forward. They're always the developers kind of been criticized sometimes for not doing a great job at the PR side of things, but honestly, I've always been a big fan of this one, and I'm just really happy to see them pushing the envelope forward as far as the technology goes.
Definitely.
So in other news, I guess, you know me, I'm always, I like to keep my nose kind of in the, my ear to the ground, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
And with Yobit kind of getting to be so big, I find myself actually having less opportunities there.
Yeah.
And so I've been shifting over to Cryptopia and Bleutrade.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing a lot of interesting stuff. Cryptopia in particular, and I would say Bleutrade as well. They both kind of feel to me right now like Yobit felt a year ago. Their top volume coins will maybe be 1 to 3 Bitcoins, and then they'll have a range of coins in the 0.1 to 1 Bitcoin per day volume range.
Sure.
But I'm also seeing them listing newer, interesting coins, and I'm seeing these coins kind of cultivate their markets on these exchanges before they go to the other exchanges. So they're kind of taking Yobit used to kind of have that role where the markets would develop on Yobit and then they'd get pumped on Bittrex or whatever. And I'm wondering if we're going to see the same thing now, where coins kind of build up on Cryptopia and Bleutrade and then get big on Yobit.
Mm.
And so the two that I'm looking at this week are RevolverCoin that launched like 3 weeks ago, and GoldBlocks that launched last week. RevolverCoin has had good volume on Cryptopia. It's at about a 16 Bitcoin market cap right now. And so I've just been trying to buy it, I guess, on Cryptopia a little bit. And then it's also had an incredibly stable price for the whole time it's been listed. And then GoldBlocks.
I remember that. You mentioned that one last week for sure.
Yep. That one is on Bleutrade. It's also had pretty steady volume and also a really steady price.
Yeah.
So anything can happen with these fringe coins, I guess you could say. But it seems to me like it's possible that developers are kind of trying to push their coins out on these early exchanges now so that they can get better control of the market early on. And if that is the case, if that is the trend, there could be a lot of fun on these small exchanges going forward.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's really quite true. Another tiny exchange that I am still watching is Novaexchange, which of course,
right,
after taking such a hard hit, is coming back slower than they were, you know. But I think that's kind of the trial.
Yep, and they just they just have to rebuild that trust over time, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And with that said, I suppose that we will tell you what has been listed this week on these various exchanges.
Coin listings. We always like to keep you guys filled in on what's going on the exchanges.
Some of these coins we don't know a lot about. Some of them we might know some about. So let's see.
Let's see what we got. Poloniex.
We mentioned they added the 2 F base pairs that they're going to trade, Dlisk and FDAO.
Yep, always interesting, and we'll keep you updated on those.
Yobit added Vapers, the ICO.
Vapers, they called it a mini ICO. I don't know what that means.
It means that it's just a smaller amount of money, I think.
This one reminded me of what you saw on Yobit. Yeah, just a little ICO.
Just a little
ICO. This reminds me of what we saw on Yobit last year a lot, where a small ICO will come up it'll get bought up really fast. It'll spike to maybe double the ICO price, but then it's just kind of fades off from there.
Well, because what else can happen, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I expect will happen to Vapers, but we'll see.
Yeah.
It was fun to see this one. I left.
Yep. They also listed SafeCoin.
SafeCoin. Don't know much about that one.
Nope.
Invictus. That was, I think, another X11 POW from
Last week.
Yep. And I think it's been trading pretty strong, actually.
Oh.
So once again, I think those X11 ASIC people are kind of showing their strength.
Yeah. HCCoin.
HCCoin, don't have any insight into that.
DebitCoin.
That was just a total shitcoin.
TetraCoin.
TetraCoin, I don't remember. I don't know anything about that.
Let's see. We got a Bitcoin talk here thing. Let me see if I remember.
TetraCoin.
April 18th. That's a bit ago.
April 18th, and then it just shows up on Yobit. What's the premise of TetraCoin?
It looks kind of... It began through a team who formed planning to take over Nuclear Coin, which was abandoned. So
that's funny because we had to post an announcement for an IPO called Nuclear Coin. Oh, Nucleus Coin, right?
Yeah, right.
Nucleus versus Nuclear. Way different.
Funny.
So it's a takeover.
Their aim was to create a silver-backed digital currency. The swap taking place gave them a good initial coin supply and a relatively small market cap. And they're buying a starting base of silver to give currency a floor value. I don't know. There's a lot of information here. I didn't look through it too close.
Okay, well, they're on Yobit.
Yep.
They have also listed ReeCoin and Mineum.
Yeah, Mineum.
So yep, that's we've been following Mineum. It's been doing pretty well. I know you did get in a little bit on the Mineum IPO. Is it trading? Is it trading over the IPO price right now?
Yeah, it is. The IPO price was like 3,000 something.
Okay, nice.
So it's been pretty good above that. Maybe reaching a top of like 10,000 or something last night at some point.
And this is one we were
back down a little bit.
I was kind of talking with Jukely earlier in the week. This is a coin that you really don't. You don't really, if you're a holder of Mineum, you don't really want to see it pump huge, because it's supposed to be based on this mining farm, right?
Right.
And so I think for it to be valued essentially at what you would expect the mining farm to be valued at
makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense, and it just kind of shows that it's a more legitimate approach to the project, this type of project, than we've seen.
It'll be interesting. So they have the ICO or the shareholders platform,
right? Which
has had a series of votes basically, which are determining the initial video card purchases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So people are voting on what types of cards and the distribution between AMD and NVIDIA and stuff like that. And so then that vote comes to an end at some point that I'm not sure about pretty soon.
Right.
And then the idea is to order the cards. Mostly, they want the ones that are just about to come out, obviously. Right. So it'll probably be like the end of July when I think everything gets built out and it starts mining. And then it'll be interesting to see. One of the votes that's going on is the amount of time to pay for the dividends, which seems like it's going to fall on 1 month periods of time. So, like I've said before, just remains to be seen. It would be a pretty sweet way to have a passive investment if it actually works.
Yeah, if they come through with it and if it works out to be profitable, it's going to be a really cool crypto experiment, I think.
Yep. The next coin that was listed on there was Tuflav.
Tuflav, that was that rebrand.
Is that a tobacco thing?
That's a rebrand of Flavor Coin. It was a high-profile one. I don't remember the premise. I do remember that it was a pretty high-value coin, though.
Something? I don't know. Digital Boulion.
Digital Boulion. This one has been kind of stewing in the background for a while, and now they're on Yobit. So another Boulion coin for people to trade with. I'll be amazed if anyone actually trades any for Boulion.
Like soup cubes?
Yeah. Yeah, I wish it was for broth. It's actually just... We should make a Boulion parody coin that is for just chicken broth cubes, because that would be probably more realistic than some of these ones that are supposed to trade against gold, right? You can easily send chicken broth in the mail.
Next up is CCX listings, and the only one they listed was the Francs. Which we've seen listed on quite a few smaller exchanges at this point.
Older coin, Francs. They just keep managing to get listed on places, so we'll see where they go from here.
Yep.
Bleutrade is next. We're going to start covering Bleutrade listings because they've been more active again.
And one of those, again, was Mineum.
They listed Mineum.
The first to do so good for them.
They listed GoldBlocks, the coin we were talking about last week. That's
Nice work.
Pretty steady volume. They also listed HVCO, high voltage coin. This is the shit coin that I was mining last week, and
but I think that's a good sign for them. They can't just be listing coins that are going to last forever,
right?
Especially at their level. I think that's part of like where they got kind of maybe stuck. There was so many coins on there that were actually dead, but maybe when they listed them, they were betting that these were ones that were going to survive or something. I don't know exactly how they got in that situation. But I think if they were just more active listing and delisting, then they'd get more volume,
Yeah, maybe. But I mined this HVCO, and I should have sold it right away because it's not looking good, but anything can happen.
Was that one you mined with your ASIC?
Yeah.
Yep. Novaexchange also we're going to try to cover because they're really trying to stage their comeback, and we don't know how that's going to go, but it's interesting. Superturbostake.
Superturbostake. This one came out a few months ago.
Yep.
With the classic ultra high stake model.
Yep.
And it's unsurprisingly now, but way below the 1 Satoshi value, of course, because it's got such high interest.
Right.
So Novaexchange is a good place for this kind of coin.
DebitCoin.
DebitCoin, another listing for DebitCoin, so maybe there's more to this coin than I initially gave it credit for. We'll see.
Rubble.
This was the Rubble coin. We couldn't decide if it was going to be pronounced Rubble or Rubble just because of the way they have it spelled, but they're on Nova.
PlatinumBar showing up.
PlatinumBar, that's another one that I mined, but it's also just another high pre-mine coin, so it's not. We'll see what happens.
And here we see Tetra again.
And Tetra again.
Interesting.
So
yeah, I think that's what I like that. I mean, why not? It's not like these need to be exclusive listings.
Right, yeah. And I wonder if people are reaching out to Nova and that's how they're getting these listings, or if they're
looking for volume,
or just if they're seeking out coins.
Yeah, I wonder.
There you have it. Those are all the listings for this week. I would say for me the Polo ETH listings are probably the most interesting.
That's the coolest thing there. Yeah, that's pretty radical.
And I don't know. I'll be watching Mineum, of course. I'm just curious to see how it plays out.
Yep.
And obviously, I'm going to be watching GoldBlocks and the other one I mentioned, Revolver Coin. So there you have it. Those are all the listings. Up next, we get to talk about our coin birthdays. Got a couple of birthdays this week.
All right. I like both of them. The first one is our 1 year is SIA.
SIA coin. SIA, decentralized storage.
A coin that allows you to store files on the blockchain. Of course, I don't know anyone that's ever used it. For that purpose.
I was nowhere to be seen when this coin came out, but it's a huge market.
And it's had a couple different price increases. Like, definitely some opportunities there that I've noticed myself missing.
It's the number 20 coin in market cap, 7.5 million.
Damn. Anyway, happy birthday on the 1 year. It seems like the kind of thing, this is the type of one where when it came out, such a big idea. And so it would be easy to be like, what are these guys? They're not going to be able to do this.
It's easy to be like, oh, this is a big idea and you're on Bitcoin talk.
And even if they do, does it mean it's going to be worth anything? But here you see that, that would have been an easy one to make money on if you had bought it, right?
Yep. Yeah, totally. And it's just great to see these huge coins that aren't even that old. Like, it's cool.
Yeah. And this one's so in the background. I kind of want to learn more about it. So
yeah, me too. If anybody from SIA or anybody knows anything about SIA listens, please reach out. We're curious.
And on the 2 year side of things, we're looking at the new Piggy Coin.
Piggy Coin. This is a really exciting birthday, I think. Piggy Coin was a coin that I mined a lot really early on. I remember mining this on like the original beta of IPO miner version. Mm-hmm. And it was just one of the early shit coins that we mined. And back then, mining these kind of coins would get you a really awesome return relative to like Dogecoin or Litecoin or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it was really fun to sell these. I remember just getting on all these weird exchanges to try and sell Piggy Coin. The first one was an NXT exchange called NXT-E. And that was the first place. I think I sold them at like 50 on that exchange, which was a really good price even then. And so that was a lot of fun. But then eventually they ended up on Poloniex.
Right. I remember that being one of the first Poloniex coins that I was super stoked on the spread of. because I was such a newbie back then, but I was able to just like buy them incredibly low and sell them high over and over again. Like it was some sort of magical trick, you know. I felt.
Well, the bots weren't as I don't know what you call them. They weren't as completely all encompassing at this point. And so you could actually get away with doing that kind of trading manually. You could get away with doing arbitrage manually, or just trying to do that kind of like you're saying, just playing both sides of the spread. And so it was really fun to play these small coins like that back then. And so seeing Piggy Coin this week definitely brought back some memories. Great coin. We joked a lot back then that it was a crypto themed for kids.
Well, it is. That was
that was their
premise.
It still is. Yeah. But I still wonder to this day what percentage of Piggy Coin is held by children. I suspect it's very, very
little.
small.
Very little.
Very low percent, but
it's a great idea in a certain way, you know.
I think so too, man.
I'm not sure why, unfortunately, introducing somebody to a coin doesn't require a whole nother blockchain. It just requires some patience, probably.
Yeah, you could give a kid some Bitcoin if you wanted, but
yeah. Anyways, happy birthday, 2 years, Piggy. Still on Poloniex. Great place to be, right?
Yep, yeah.
You never know.
Piggy Coin,
anything can happen.
Piggy Coin is looking great as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
There you have it, folks. That's been our week in crypto. Really interesting week. Bitcoin just going crazy.
Let's see, has it gone up again while we do it?
I see it. Nope, looks like it's at about 620 right now still.
Oh, that low still?
Yeah, anything could happen. Once again, we will be gone next week.
Yep.
But we'll be back in force on the 25th. And that's it. That's it for the Blockchain Dynamics show number 16. My name is Brandon Doge.
And I'm Jukely. Thanks for listening.
This is Error by Trial Radio. Peace.